गुड मॉर्निंग एंड वेलकम टू गनर शॉट। गनर शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। Today we're going to talk of India-US relationship and how it's on a tightrope. Why have I taken this? I should be speaking of the Delhi blasts and things like that. But believe you me, yesterday and day before, we've spoken of the Delhi blast and various facets of that whole story. It's time that we start looking elsewhere. When I say elsewhere, like I said, I've been saying for the past 48 hours since the blast has happened. That blast is going to define many things, unlike Op Sindoor. Op Sindoor was significant, but it changed a lot of things. And, it changed a lot of things externally. The Delhi blast will going to change many things internally. It will, take my word. So there are issues in this whole story, right? And that's what I thought I'll put across to you. While we talk of the Delhi blast and all that, much of what happens in the aftermath of the Delhi blast affects the India US relationship. Equally and conversely, much of what happens in the India US relationship affects how we are going to deal with the Delhi blast and probably get out of it. So it is in this context that I thought I should speak on this relationship, which is on a tightrope. Now look at this picture, which I've put across to all of you. It's a very interesting picture. It's interesting because it shows Donald Trump and Prime Minister Modi walking, on two separate ropes on a tightrope basis. Two separate tightropes. They're walking independently, but they're balancing with the same stick. It's very, very interesting. And this is going to be the theme of my talk today. And incidentally, this cartoon it came out yesterday in the South China Morning Post. And this is how the Chinese perceive it. And I think they're right. We're walking on different ropes, on probably different trajectories, but we are bound with each other, bound to each other, because we have to balance on our respective tightropes is common. And that is important. And that is why this relationship with USA is important when we speak of our relationship with, or I wouldn't say relationship, as to how we deal with this whole story as far as the Delhi blast is concerned. So I thought this is an important thing which we need to understand. And here I go. Look, the relationship between India and, of course, USA is bound by a few issues. One is the strategic partnership. Second is the defense cooperation between the two countries. Then there's a whole lot of tech cooperation, and that tech cooperation is pretty deep. It's also our diaspora there and their investment into global capability centers here and expanding, like what's happening in Google and Microsoft and OpenAI. Then the Indo-Pacific construct. Well, everyone thinks ever since Trump has come, the focus has shifted away from the Indo-Pacific. No, it's coming back, and it's coming right back, and that we'll talk tomorrow. How the Indo-Pacific is coming back into focus, and what will India's role be there? We'll talk of it tomorrow, because there are developments which have happened in the recent past, which force all players to refocus back on the Indo-Pacific. To a large degree, the West Asian crisis is over. Gaza, Israel will continue. Russia, Ukraine has gone cold. I think Trump has realized that it's better to let them slog it out with each other and keep Russia on the hold there. The focus will be now here. And there already action on ground on this. And of course, the fundamental thing is for containment of China. If we think that there was a talk between Trump and Xi Jinping and G2 and all that, it's not there. Whether you read the Chinese writings or the US writings, both are clear that that was temporary and the long term problems are huge. It's not going to go away. And in that, USA needs India. And India needs USA in its own growth story. And we have to put that across. What are the irritants? This is something which I've spoken of earlier, but I'm reiterating it. The irritants in the India-US relationship is of top of the track comes the Russian oil. Right? The problem Trump has with Russian oil. Then the US tilt to Pakistan. The G2 with China, which is always under, a raging undercurrent. Then all the demeaning taunts which Trump and his, roughnecks have spoken of about India. There was a shift to the Central Asia, and that's on. That's not going away. The new ambassador has come. He's still the special representative to Central Asia and South Asia. USA is on a resource hunt in terms of rare earth minerals X, Y, Z. That's a different story which I'll talk of. It's going all over. It's gone to Kazakhstan, it's gone to Australia, it's gone everywhere. But it has to come back to India for that at some point. Then there's, of course, this fascination with the Nobel Prize, which of late has gone down, but it's there. And then the H1B visa issue. These are the issues and main irritants between both the countries running at this point of time. But things are changing. And things are changing imperceptibly, or rather some perceptibly. It started changing a little while back. It's not as if it's changed overnight. It started changing a little while back. When suddenly USA realized that, look, the issue of India not taking Russian oil is beyond India. And the answer to that lies somewhere else. And here it is. Listen to the ambassador of USA to NATO, what he has to say about the Russian oil business. Right.
I mean, what's really happening is our expectation is that countries like Hungary, Turkey, and Slovakia that continue to buy Russian oil and gas will come up with a plan and execute a plan that weans them off of Russian oil and gas. And, Hungary, unlike many of their neighbors, has not made any plans or made any active steps. And so we're going to continue to work with them, and we're going to continue to work with their neighbors like Croatia and other countries that can help them wean themselves off. And, obviously that pipeline is most likely to be shut off in the coming years as well. And so there's a lot of planning that our friends in Hungary should do. And we're going to help them, obviously, as a good ally, make those plans and execute them to get them off of Russian oil and gas.
So very clearly, they're looking at East Europe to wean them off Russian oil and gas. They've realized this. This is something which they never spoke of earlier. Of late, they've started speaking this, right? And then, of course, Trump himself about the Russian oil and things like that. Listen to him, what he says.
How close are you to a deal on a trade deal with India? Are you willing to consider lowering the current tariff rate?
Well, right now the tariffs are very high on India because of the Russian oil, and they've stopped doing the Russian oil. It's been reduced very substantially. Yeah, we're going to be bringing the tariffs down.
Well, what level are we talking about?
At some point, we're going to be bringing them down. Without tariffs, this country would be in such trouble, as they were for many years. That's why we owe $38 trillion. And one of the things we're going to do, we're going to issue a dividend to.
So he's very clear. He started with the Russian oil. He says the tariffs are high because of the Russian oil. At some point, we'll bring it down. There's a shift which is happening. It's a global shift. It's not as if we are going to be weaned away from Russian oil, we might reduce it. After all, we also have to balance our relationship. There's a limit to which we can support Russia, and Russia has to do something on its own. We can't be their handmaiden, and just because we are right. And internally, we can do well with a little less Russian oil, because our internal needs are not being met by Russian oil; they are external. So there has to be a balance. I think, in my own opinion, there's some accommodation in this. On this, there's no doubt. And there's a realization very clearly in USA that US can't move ahead without India. And that's very important. The indispensability of India is coming to the fore. Right? Okay, now let's go
How
ahead.
close are you?
This is what I read in South China Morning Post. Very interesting article. Their analysis. It says neither Washington nor Delhi can afford strategic complacency. China's influence is expanding. Russia is seeking new markets. Equilibrium in the Indo-Pacific depends on steady coordination amongst major democratic powers. Who are the major democratic powers? India and US. When the US and India act in concert, they add predictability to Asia's order. When they diverge, uncertainty multiplies. So, in the past 8 months, ever since, or 11 months since Trump has taken over, the uncertainty has multiplied, especially since April when he came out with the Liberation Day tariffs. And this uncertainty would have been conveyed to Trump in the recent APEC meeting or the ASEAN Plus meetings, which he attended. And he would have got a sense of it when he spoke with Xi Jinping. Now they realize that they have to come back to India. Let's be clear. I mean, I've always said that you can't grow without USA. You need USA. And that is why we have shown tremendous amount of strategic restraint. And will it pay off? We don't know. That cartoon which I showed in the beginning still holds good. Right? It holds good because of the fact that because of the fact that the tightropes on which we are walking are still apart. We don't have the same goals. Right. But then there is something beyond that. What's that? The reasons of our divergence lie in a half century of misaligned interests. This is what the Washington Post says. And unless both countries confront that past and stop repeating it, the future will belong to others. Very, very interesting observation. India and USA have to take a call whether they squarely confront each other's problems or past histories, come to an accommodation, and then work together, or repeat the mistakes and the future then starts belonging to others. I think they've started doing it. And this will be significant, right? And I will see about this a little later. And that's here it comes. When you see this tweet, it is by very heavily followed Pakistani in Twitter. It says, and I'm going to read it verbatim so that you understand what it says. It says, DC closed the loopholes in its India play. Very important. That Washington is now alive to what it is and they are plugging the gaps. Trump flagged the imbalance, follow through, and some tactical use of Pakistan. It's produced a reciprocal deal. So he says, this is the Pakistani view. They said, look, Trump has now seen through all this. There's a reciprocal deal coming between India and USA. And the reciprocal deal contains what all? Indian Ocean access. India. Without India, USA can't go anywhere in the Indian Ocean. Nor can China, nor can Pakistan. No one can. This is an open statement which I made many times to all of you. Right. And logistics and secure technology in the renewed 10-year pact. Which pact is he talking of? He's talking of the 10-year defense pact between India and USA. Then he says India won't be replaced in the IOR. Modi will lock in Washington and then tighten pressure on Pakistan under Asim law. This is important. This is their perception. And if this is their perception, we should ensure that this perception is driven home. You want to put pressure on Pakistan, you want to get USA either out of the equation or in the equation with us, which we couldn't do for whatever reason in Op Sindoor, which just didn't happen. That's fine. But now let us do it. Let us think of it now. Right? And the opportunity is here. And like I always say, you have to play the long game. You have to be patient. And I think our patience is paying off. And full marks to my Prime Minister for having played this game. There will be many detractors. I've heard many people talk of Narendra, surrender, ye, wo, all that. But they're fools. They're political fools. Okay. Why? Why do I say all this is important? Again, I look at it from the US point of view. I'm not looking at it from my point of view. Right? There is a unanimity of thought in USA that there is no alternative to India. And this chap, Farid Zakaria, he keeps repeating it. And hear what he says.
There is only one country in the world that has the scale to replace China. And if you're trying to create a non-Chinese ecosystem, if you want to make massive amounts of consumer electronics or iPhones, only India has this.
He says there's only one country in the world which can replace China in scale. And he keeps repeating this. It's not only him. I've said this. I've been saying this for the past 6 years. Right? And at that time when I spoke like this, people thought I was an idiot. But it's no more. People all over the world are saying this.
To be able to do that. If you want to make massive amounts of pharmaceuticals, only India has the ability to do that. If you wanted, for the next pandemic, you don't want to be reliant on China because many of these.
Very important. If there's a next pandemic coming and if you don't want to rely on China, you have to invest in India. And the last pandemic proved that. I'm sure someone in USA is thinking very hard about all this. And they would have told Trump, and especially Trump would have come to realize after this meeting with Xi Jinping. And people would suddenly be realizing in USA, while Pakistan is important for us, what does Pakistan give us? Pakistan will suck us. If our revival is required, our revival has to happen, we have to go back to India. The hard facts are now coming up. And that is the important part.
Things we're talking about are low margin goods where you need to make them in massive scale. That's not going to be done in Texas or California. That's not even going to be done in Europe. Only India can play the role of the next China with regard to that kind of manufacturing.
So he talks of only India can play the role of the next China. But in my own assessment, India should not be the next China. We are not a global handmaiden. That you take China out and replace it with India. In which case, the pressures on India will be huge. And we will suffer. We don't want that to happen. We have to be the better India. That's an internal thing. We'll handle it. And we'll talk of it as we go along. And very largely our government seems to be doing that. I have no issue with it. But that's a different conversation. Right now, we still have to see how to balance each other with the help of each other on our own tight ropes. Right? Okay, let's go ahead. This yet another thing. Trump has suddenly realized that look, he doesn't have talent in USA. That talent is available only outside. First, let's listen to that and then analyze this.
There's never going to be a country like what we have right now.
And does that
the
mean-
Republicans have to talk about it?
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign
but
workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
Well, we
a
have plenty of
country-
talented
No,
people
no, you
here.
don't. No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have. You don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, "I'm going to put you into a factory. We're going to make missiles," or "I'm going to."
How did we ever do it before?
Well, let me
when you
just.
and I were
I'll give you
growing
an
up?
example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea that made
Hyundai.
batteries all their lives. You know, making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing and very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it. Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say a country's coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant, and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years,
Right.
and they're going to start making missiles. It doesn't work that
Well,
way.
I'm glad that USA has started realizing that they don't have the capability to do certain things. To that extent, I grant Mr. Trump what he has spoken. And he's very clear that they, at some point of time, the H1B visa system has to change. All those restrictions which is put on Indians will be lifted. It's a matter of time. By next summer, we'll be discussing something else. Already, within the Republican Party, the voice is coming out that look, don't give Chinese H1B visas. We made this mistake earlier. You can't allow 6 lakh Chinese students to come into USA once again. And this is coming from Nikki Haley, who is a Republican, influential. She also ran for the presidential race. And she's got a say in the Republican Party, and probably she's the future once Trump steps off. And the same thing is echoed in some form in the Democratic Party, though it's not come out. So I don't see this relationship can exist apart from each other for long. Of course, things have changed, and I'll talk of that also. Why things have changed? Because India is no more the same India which Trump was dealing with at the beginning of the year. And this is very important to understand by everyone. And when I say, look, India is going to be the next global superpower and India is on the move and things like that, many people don't understand. Many people don't even, they think I'm a nationalistic guy or a Hindutva guy or, someone who's licking up to the government and talking sweet and all that nonsense. Fine. But listen to the Singapore Prime Minister, Hsien Loong. What does he say? And I've shown this earlier, but listen to it because this is what is the strength of India and this is where we are heading. And I might add at this stage, how we respond to the Delhi blast will affect this, what this chap is going to say about India. It is not ordained that, India will grow and become the next superpower if it doesn't handle its internal problems well. India must handle its internal problems well if it aims to be the next superpower. So let's listen to Loong.
And quite late in the process, the Indians decided that they did not want to participate in this. And therefore, we now have, ASEAN plus Northeast Asia plus Australasia. I think it's a useful grouping to have. I hope one day the Indians will be ready to participate. Certainly, if they're going to grow and on projections one day, they will catch up with the Chinese, maybe even overtake them, but because they have a much younger population and the Chinese population is already declining. But I think
So that's very important. He says one day they will catch up with the Chinese and even surpass them. And that's because of one factor which I keep repeating. They have a much younger population than China who's declining. I'm very clear about it. And you'll see this effect in the next 5 years. I'm not talking of 2050, 70, 2030, you'll see the change. It will be prominent. It might not manifest itself 100% on the ground, but you'll see the markers are very clear. And you'll see a different beat about India, you'll see a different beat about China. On that, I have no doubt. And what is he talking about? He's talking of RCEP or the ASEAN construct or the East Asian construct, whatever you call the Asian markets, the Asian business environment. And he wants India to be part of it. Look, if you think that anyone else can replace India, forget it. This is the view. Either you go to the west or you go to the east, wherever. And everyone realizes India is walking on its own tightrope. And much will depend on how India progresses. The future of this globe will depend much on how India progresses. Okay, let's get ahead. And this is what I always keep showing. And this is something which the Chinese have come up with. And this cartoon didn't come up yesterday, it came 4 years back. Where the 4 corners of the globe are being held by India, China, Russia, and USA. This is not my imagination. This comes from China. Today, if you look at it, we are the 4th largest economy. There's no doubt about it. We are the fastest growing economy. Even on that, there's no doubt. Yesterday, I saw Moody's or all these people keep coming every week, 10 days, with projections that India will remain 6.5 plus right up to 2027. Beyond that, well, it's a little hazy. And you have a proven military ability. And Pakistan fears us. Already yesterday we discussed about this. China. You read Chinese literature today. And I'll do a discussion on China separately. Will the Chinese go to war? I don't know. It's not going to be so easy. In fact, there are huge question marks on Chinese military capability. And from that, from the previous cartoon, I've always derived this quadrilateral, the power quadrilateral of the world. We all know that the established powers are, of course, USA, which is the dominant power, but it is in Trumpian turmoil. Russia was a great power, is a great power, but it is a weakened power. One fine day, this Russia-Ukraine war will finish, or it will keep simmering. In either conditions, the Russian economy is not going anywhere. It's not a big economy in any case. It's only about $2 trillion, despite everything. It's got a lot of military capability. And that military capability is also stuck in Ukraine. Its residual military capability is all about missiles and nukes. It's riding on that power. China is an aspiring power, but it's in decline. I don't have to say that. You heard the Prime Minister of Singapore say that it is the Chinese. It's in a demographic decline, and that's not coming back. Economy has been in, what shall I say, deflation for the past 1 year, and people say China is growing. There's a political problem, there's a military problem. Even today morning in South China Morning Post, there is an analysis about PLA and Xi Jinping and the problems they're facing. So we have to understand in all this, you have a growing power, a power which is emerging, which is called India, and it is going away from its reticent past. There was a time in earlier times when we wouldn't commit ourselves to global affairs. Today you started doing so, and others want you to do so. And this is what you have to understand, the tightrope we are in. And this is what USA also has to understand, the tightrope they are in. You want each of us to go along our tightropes or jump onto the same tightrope, we have to have a fundamental understanding. Right? And the practicality of that, you can see the green shoots of that. We recently signed a 10-year framework for US-India major defense partnership. I did a program on that separately. Right? And I analyzed India and USA are interdependent on each other militarily. There's no way getting away from it. We are bound to each other. Trump can talk what he wants. And the military interests of both the countries are now intertwined. The strategic interests of both the countries are intertwined. Your dependence on Russia for military hardware is declining. It's there, but it is declining. With USA, it's increasing. It's not only dependence, it is interdependence. Interdependence. With Russia, it's not interdependence, it's only dependence. There's a difference between the two. And this is something which we need to understand fully. Right? And then look at this. What is this? This is the visit of our team from the headquarter IDS to the US Pacific Command. It happened earlier this month. Not very far back, just about 10 days back, 3rd, 4th November. A team from the, which is under the CDS, led by Air Marshal, has gone, sat in Indo-Pacific Command and has had a discussion on various issues. Why would it do just 10 days back? There's a revival. Immediately after the 10-year defense framework, this team goes there. It is not only that. There's an exercise going on, 10th to 13th November, ongoing at this point of time. Or maybe it's just wound on yesterday. Where Air Force is operated with US Air Force. And this is the time when exercise threshold is going on. And we put NOTAMs all over. Delhi blast is on, everything, but this has not stopped. So there is something happening which is reviving this relationship, and we need to understand that. A very important thing which the US has stepped back on is the sanctions on the Chabahar port. They've withdrawn it. It's only for 6 months, but that's okay. It will get extended. Why? US realizes if tomorrow the Pakistan route is closed, they'll need Chabahar port and the route through Iran. And US can't go through Iran. Only India can go through Iran. Of course, US is making efforts for a direct deal with Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan and all that. But there's a limitation of access. And in this entire scheme of things, it is Afghanistan which holds the centerpiece. It's the puzzle. It's the the piece in this jigsaw puzzle which everyone wants. In fact, everyone wants it more than Pakistan. People don't understand it. And that is why, through centuries, right from the times of Alexander to even now Pakistan, everyone wants a piece of Afghanistan and they don't get it. Right? And your grip on Afghanistan tightens not because of your military capability. Your grip, India's grip on Afghanistan tightens because of people to people contact. And then say, look, they could have been antagonistic towards us. But the people of Pakistan, Afghanistan are driving the Taliban government to say, go to India because only India can give us answers. And this is something we should never forget. It can never be discounted. And US has started realizing it now. There's no doubt. Many things can't be said, but you'll see it in further actions. And we have to also understand that age and time are on India's side. And this is a very important graphic which I got hold of. This is the average age by countries of the top 20 economies. You'll see in this, India is the youngest of the top 20 economies. This is not the top 20 economies by economic size, it's by age. Here you find, China and USA side by side. But my guess is USA, due to its migration policies, will stick here. China will start going anti-clockwise up very fast. In the next 5 years, if I have to reproduce this graph in 5 years, China will be somewhere here, 45. It's already at 40. 39.8 years is the average age of China today. And it will be here. And it will continue to be here. So that is the potential of India. Everyone recognizes, we need to recognize, and we need to solidify. And that is where you need USA. If USA is there with us, you can handle this, whatever is the outflow of this Delhi blast. Whether you have to do something against Pakistan, make no mistake. While we have to do a lot internally for cleaning our own stables, but we have to do something against Pakistan. And it is at that point of time, people have to understand. How you do it, everything is a matter of detail, which we can talk of another day. Now, we've had a lot of FTAs, a lot of people have been coming. Since the last time I spoke to you on these lines, there are 2 more who joined the bandwagon. That's New Zealand. Let's see what this says.
What is the long-term goal of our?
This is the New Zealand Prime Minister.
Strategic relations?
Well, I think there's a huge amount of opportunity, and what Prime Minister Modi and I talked about is how do we deepen out our defence and security ties. In 2025, there is no way that we have prosperity for India and New Zealand without having stability and security as well. The two go hand in hand. And that's why having like-minded countries like India and New Zealand that actually want to maintain peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region is very, very critical. And I'm very proud actually of the working relationship between our two militaries and the work that they've done already over the last 12 months.
So he's talking of the New Zealand Prime Minister. He says if you want peace and stability in this entire region, India, trade India. And he says, look, I'm very proud that our two militaries are working together. New Zealand has got no military worth talking of. It's hardly a military. Okay, it won't be even the size of Tamil Nadu police. But they have no choice. Remember, sometime last year, 3 Chinese ships went between, Australia and New Zealand and carried out a firing exercise in the oceans. And these chaps are in panic. They have to come back. And now this is the new country which is added on to our whole story. But this is an interesting discussion which this lady has had with the Prime Minister of Finland. Hear that, because he is very clear on what he has said, that India will be the next superpower, right up there with USA and China. This is the Finnish Prime Minister. Okay, he's not minced his words. He doesn't have any doubt about it. So India is having a multi-vectoral foreign policy, which is fully understandable. The world knows it, and they can do. They can't. The world also knows that we are not going to get aligned with anyone, and people are started falling in line with that thinking process. Clear. There's a clarity of thought which is now emerging, which was not there in the beginning of the year. Today, every leader who comes and speaks with India talks like in this language. Obviously, we are changing. The danger in this is Pakistan is trying to derail exactly that. Right? And I'm grateful to First Post and my, thank First Post for this clip and Palki Sharma for having spoken to this man. Anyway, that's a different story.
Do you see it?
I keep showing this often. Right? I've just added New Zealand and Finland to this circle. And what is this circle? This circle is all about the number of countries which have interacted with us at the highest levels just in the past 2 to 3 months. Either we've had a FTA with them, or some kind of an agreement with them, or there's a major visit, or there's a deal under transactionality or under transaction. One year back, I couldn't have dreamt of drawing this. Just to give you an idea, look at the countries. Start from Japan, Brazil, Russia, EU, Italy, Germany, France, right? Ukraine, Finland, Canada, Brazil, Philippines, Singapore, UK, Australia, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, right? Israel, New Zealand, and Finland. Important personalities from all these countries have come to India and said, look, we want to be friends with India. And India has to forge ahead. On that, I don't think we have any issue. All of you also who is watching this have any doubt about it. Well, some might have doubts. That's a different story. Right? Okay. It is in this condition I get back to where we started from. India has to grow. If India has to grow, there's still a way forward. We're not there as it. Let's be very honest with ourselves. And Pakistan is trying its best to ensure that we don't grow. What is this Delhi blast all about? The Delhi blast is all about telling the world, look, India is not the best place to go to. India is still a dangerous place. We can do what we want with it. And if Pakistan can provoke a reaction from India and we go and attack them or do whatever silly thing, Op Sindoor 2, which everyone wants to do. The young want to do, the blood is boiling. You go and do. They're going to tell everyone, look, we told you, India is what it is. So in the larger, this is Pakistan's game plan. And you attack Pakistan, this Asim Munir will become the strongest dictator Pakistan has had. So you have to do things completely against that. And for that, you need USA either on your side or in a neutral corner. And in that context, India-US relations are important. Okay? For USA, if they have to achieve their goals, there's a realization that they need India. Without India, they can go nowhere. So there is a mutuality of interest and commonality of interests. If the mutual interests have to serve, we have to restart our relationship. But having said all this, will our relationship be what it was when Mr. Modi last met Mr. Trump? I don't think so. The strategic part of the relationship is over. We have to now have a tactical relationship. Whether this tactical relationship or a transactional relationship, whether this tactical relationship come transactional relationship gets back to that strategic relationship will take some time. It will take time. It's not going to happen in a hurry. In the meanwhile, India will continue to grow. USA will keep continuing to struggle. And as this happens, the nature of our relationship also will change. We need to be prepared for that. It's not going to be hunky dory back. It's going to be difficult. We'll need each other. We'll not need each other. And at times we will be against each other. This is the story as we go forward. Right? And with this, I'd like to thank all of you who attended today's morning's talk. If you like this, do press the like button and also press the bell icon and subscribe to Ganashot. And if you can join Ganashot as members, I'll be more than grateful. Right, with this, I'll take a few questions and we have time, so there's no hurry in I'll attend to each thing. Right. Thanks a lot, Akash, for having joined. You've always been a very regular viewer, and I'm honored because of that. And Ladybird Haru, good morning, and Mrs. Claire's also good morning. Lata Sundar says, cover the return of the Apache helicopter. That's a technical issue. There must be some problem in it, and they would have said, okay, send it back and all. So I don't give too much credence to that. Lata, let's be very clear. These things happen, and they'll give it back. I mean, having dealt with US on this FMS business and their things, they're also proud people. They don't like bad equipment being given to others. They're proud of the fact that their equipment is the best. Understand this. And by my own experience, and this is experience of over 10, 15 years having dealt with them on cases, it'll come back. To me, it's a very minor issue. Right? Yeah, good morning, sir. You should do a special program on Africa too. I will. Right? It's important for Indians also why such a huge continent with massive resources is so poor and always burning. I will. Just for your information, DMA 33, I've already done about this with Ambassador Gurjit Singh. I'll call him and I'll ask him to talk to you once again about Africa because he's been our ambassador to the African Union and he knows a lot of Africa. You search in Ganashot on Africa, just put Africa and it'll come through. So not an issue. Yeah, Dograji, Har Har Mahadev, thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks a lot. Trucks full of love. Thank you. Okay. Dr. Shankar once said West has applied Goldilocks principle towards India. This one step forward, two step backward behavior by US, including labeling Pak as terror victim, will increase mistrust. Look, I'll put it this way. Instead of getting into the what Dr. Jaishankar said and what they're behaving and all, expect it. This relationship is not on a super highway. It's on a rocky road. The positive part of it is that rocky road is probably coming to an end. And after that, you'll have a dirt track of, going ahead, which is pretty okay. It's still not entered a place where it's on tarmac, leave alone a 4-lane highway or a 6-lane highway. So expect these problems. That's the way I look at it. Yeah. If you observe Topuz Chamcha, Navarro has stopped berating. I completely agree with you. Yeah, what a session on P Guru, sir. Viewers, please view that session along with this one. Like and subscribe to Sir's channel. Thanks a lot, Kiran. Yeah, it was a very good session we had with the P Gurus on, with General Rajiv Narayanan and General Dushan Singh. In fact, we thought of it and we said, they're the two people best I connect with. And of course, in the Gunners side, I connect best with Raj Shukla, the Gunners fraternity, and Hari Mohan. That's why I got it. Don't miss these, right? And I mean, to put it bluntly, to a large extent, I'm the driving force behind both these shows. Of course, Mr. Sri Iyer is the anchor of the whole story. But and we've discussed it. We're good friends. That's why it goes on both channels. But we are clear on this. Okay. Op Sindoor made India realize US is not a reliable, trustworthy partner. Now, whatever steps India takes, there's no active support from US. How should India-US? Should India look at Indo-US relationship going forward? That's what I said. This is a testing time. Our effort should be to ensure that USA is on our side. If it is not on our side, it should be in a neutral corner. That's the way I look at it. And that's how we should handle the outcome of this Delhi blast or the further action of this Delhi blast. Don't take precipitate steps which will upset any apple cart. So, and focus more on the internal, because focusing more on the internal and then shifting to the external will pay us dividends. Yeah, that will make even USA realize where we are. Vitika is being optimistic but deluded. Orban is least interested in the meaning of Russian energy import. Ashok, I completely agree with you. It will not be feasible. But the fact is, they have realized that the solution to whatever they want to do with the Russian oil doesn't lie in India. It lies there. If they can't do it there, don't expect it to be done in India. That is the thing. That's why I said, I know it. They can't get off it. I know it's a dead dream. But that's how it is. Yeah. Yeah, we've done already one on Sudan. I'll have more. What I'll do is I'll get the ambassador to talk on subjects on countries of his expertise, and then we'll do things. But I'll continue once in a while. I'll keep doing all this. Unfortunately, what happens is, to be very honest, when I do these sessions, hardly anyone sees. There's hardly any viewership. You have to drive me to do these sessions. If you drive me to do these sessions, you have to come and attend. Okay, that's the point. Yeah, hereafter, system should be established. Country needing ceasefire should come on public TV and ask for the same. These things are in diplomacy and in international relations don't work out the way ideally we want them to work out. But this will happen. These problems will happen. Jai Hind, thanks a lot, Palayat. And 2029 election should be fun to watch. Well, it's too far away. It's still 4 years away. There's no hurry for it. Okay. Yeah. My prediction has been that India-US tariff deal will be announced soon after the Bihar elections, with concessions to the US on farm imports. Let's see. That's how I look at it. European, Asia, Japan does not need scale. They can produce and meet the demands. We are a dependent country. I don't think we are. We are not. We are a country which is independent. Look, please understand. Dependency of a country or otherwise depends on the fact that we are food sufficient. We have military, everything. What do you lack is energy, right? And we are making efforts to offset that. But having said that, Other countries might have energy, they don't have refining capacity. India is an overall net positive refiner. In fact, we have the biggest refining capacity in the world. So if people don't have energy, they need refinement, they have to come to India. So to that extent, our energy map is quite secure. So we are largely autonomous. Neil, Jai Hind. So liquidity crisis in USA, no money to pay off four-wheeler or subprime loans, no money to hire a high-end design talent. Is this next gold sell-off? No, I don't think so. Don't get taken in by what social media talks about USA. USA's depth is huge, and USA knows how to come out of its own crisis. Okay, so don't react to what the social media talks. Yeah, Mark Sahabandu, good morning. Yeah, Op Sindur made us. Yeah, we've heard about this, Anirban. Yeah, Jeffrey, hi, how are you? And Jai Hind, John Jeffrey Fernandez. Munir is now a permanent power in Pakistan. Is the nuclear saber rattle now sure and for real? What should be India's response tomorrow? Tomorrow, Sandeep Punithan and I are going to focus on Asim Munir. So join in it tomorrow. We'll discuss this in detail. We've spoken largely of Pakistan, we've spoken of this, that, but we need to understand this individual with whom we have to deal with for a long time to come. I don't have any hope on internal security. Sachs, I don't agree with you. I have tremendous hope. Things have changed. Things have changed tremendously over the past 40, 50 years. Yeah, these problems in a pluralistic democracy and a pluralistic multicultural society will happen. So be patient. We have to be patient with ourselves. We can't be impatient with ourselves. Right? Jai Hind, unknown artist, Jai Hind. Yeah, B1 Lancer looming shows military projections toward China. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, not many questions today, sir, because the session is simply fantastic and a lot of material to absorb. Thanks a lot. You know, understand this facts. Why I come out with what I speak and with the facts and all the material is you have what I put across in Gunner Shot. There is a lot of thought. It's just not airy gary. I don't react to a situation. What I speak in about Delhi Blast, everything has got a lot of depth based on research elsewhere. And like I said, tomorrow we'll talk of the Indo-Pacific and how things are changing there. How things are changing between China and Japan. How things are changing between China and Philippines and Vietnam and all these countries tomorrow. Do you think continuation of Russia-Ukraine war is beneficial to India, its rise in future, or will it push Russia to look? Till such time Russia-Ukraine war continues, India will benefit. And I've been saying this from a long time. I have no doubt about it at all. Right? It's not a matter of it's not a matter of economics. It's a matter of it's not only a matter of geoeconomics too. It's a major matter of geopolitics. Russia will never get dependent on China. They have to be dependent on India for a long time to come. Ukraine also needs India to square up with Russia. That Zelensky himself has said. So no worry. Yeah, Sanjay. Happy morning, Shankar. Thanks for the presentation and nice cartoon thumbnail. Thank you. Modi government did not do any concrete steps on Bangladeshi illegals. They took years to resolve the Manipur issue. That allows outsiders to take advantage. Sarkarji, I agree with you 100%. And I've been critical of our government on this issue, right? I think on Manipur, we missed a lot of steps. We shouldn't have let Manipur be what it was for 2 years. I think the government faltered. Now they're on track. It'll take time. Because even then, in my initial videos on Manipur, if you go back, I said if Manipur is back, it'll take another 10 years to come get it back to real normal. And that we've delayed. So Manipur will start appearing normal around 2030. You can start dreaming of being normal. It's not a normal state still. As far as Bangladesh illegals are concerned, I agree with you. Again, we missed the step. We missed the step largely because we had good relations with Sheikh Hasina. Now that we don't have, things will move. So in every happening, every incident, even if it's not okay with you, there are some positives. The positive about what's happened in Bangladesh is we can now crack down on illegals. But the more important point in this is how do you track illegals who are already here? You have to push them out. That's important. Okay, let me see. Yeah, my heartfelt and rising warm greetings to Rising Bharat. I keep saying Bharat can't be stopped anymore. On that, I have never had a doubt. Vasu, good morning. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your compliments on the three good generals episode yesterday. It was good. I also felt it. Ambassador Gurjeet is a genius. I'll convey it to him. He is a good man, excellent man, in fact, and very erudite and very perceptive. And he knows things. He's a man with his full feet on the ground, and I'll convey it to him. Will Trump's new esteemed friend Jolani recommend Trump for Nobel Prize? Well, let's leave that to Jolani. Good morning, sir. Bharat market should or high quality talent should market or high quality talent, affordable price in GCC or premium price for training them on H1B like America markets its agricultural goods with affordable costs, super quality. I agree with you 100%. But I think we are doing it on our own. We have the capability of doing it on our own. Okay, why are we always a soft target for major powers? Why they want to exploit our weakness? Look, this is a hangover from the colonial period. Okay, we have to come out of it. We are coming out of it, and I think in the next 4-5 years, even this will change. That's my view. On a scale of 0 to 100, where are we today? We are at about 40. That's all. Be very honest with you. 40. By 2030, I expect it to go to about 70 on the soft target business and why they want to exploit. For them to realize that we can't be exploited will take some more time. From the perspective of UPSC, do you think banning madrasa training will really solve the fundamental mindsets of Muslims in India? And second, won't it be better educating the Maulvis? You have to do both. Because some Maulvis are beyond it. Those have to be sent wherever they have to be sent. And you have to form, to that extent, I would say you should follow the Ataturk model, Kemal Ataturk, who reformed Turkey. Go back to him. Study what he did. And modernize Islam in our country. I think that things goes there. How do you deal with Trump and Munir friendship? Join me tomorrow. We'll discuss this. Morning. Why are we always on the back foot and leave problems for the... That's the nature of our society. That's the nature of our courts. That's the nature of us, the people. The people, we have to understand where we are. Unless we are clear that we have to get on the front foot, we will not. Yeah, thanks a lot, Parisarat. Good evening from USA. I hope you're having a good time there. And I'm sure things will change even for you. Yeah. What about China buying Russia oil, but China can't be bullied? But that's there. That's a permanent thing. It will not go away. Look, a lot of things won't go away just because Russia, USA has done what it has. They've realized that they can't do many things, and they're getting back to square one. Actually, yeah, great general with brawn and brain. Thanks a lot. Uh, okay. Caricature today is fantastic, sir. With your permission, would like to add a parachute kit to India, not to US, because I'm confident that India is the fifth pole. Gyan from Ghana. Yeah, there's the fifth pole. There's no doubt. I mean, again, we could be the third pole, we could be the fourth pole, or the fifth pole. Like the Prime Minister of Finland said, we're the third pole. Someone says we're the fourth pole, and so we have to see. But we are going to be a major pole. That's the more important thing. Yeah, Afghanistan has already done a surgical strike on Pak army business through a trade ban. Let's see, because at the end of the day, while we talk so much about Afghanistan and Taliban and all, there are a lot of intransigent people. Can you rely on them? And they'll never come to an agreement. So you have to play along with them. It's like catching a fish in fast water. You have to let it go, pull it, let it go, pull it. You have to play them along. And it will not be a clean affair. Yeah. Enemy can play. If enemy can play to target Modi, why can't India play in the same coin? Yes, we can and we must. We must. I agree with you. We'll talk of it tomorrow again. Manipur is a faux pas by BJP. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, thanks for your service to the nation. I always look forward to your interviews. Pranam, thanks a lot for attending. Your opinion on Indian Muslims in yesterday's podcast is spot on. Hope government takes action. I'm going to continue talking of it. In fact, for all of you, today evening, we're going to talk on Jaipur Dialogues with Sanjay Dixit at 4:15 p.m. in the evening. It's an odd time, but we're going to do it. And I'm going to talk of it today evening also. I'm sure this will be the topic of our discussion. Yeah. Can we spread the message across Pakistan masses that Fauji foundations are haram? We don't have that kind of strategic communications. Unless we improve our strategic communications, we can't. And even then, it will take a long time because the Fauji Foundation even sells soap, bread, and cake at one end, and at the other end, it is dealing with copper mines and recording. The whole works, the FWA, the Frontier Works Organization, which is part of the Fauji Foundation. So they've got their talents deep into their own system. It's not going to be easy, but we have to try. Try we must. Right. With this, we've done for the day. Thanks a lot for all of you who attended. Understand this. Today's talk is a very important talk. And club it, of course, with yesterday's. And we'll see how to go forward. Join me back at 4:15 when I have a discussion with Sanjay Dixit on whatever he chooses. Most probably, we'll talk of the Delhi blast. Thank you, morning, and have a great day, and Jai Hind to all of you.